Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's class. How are you guys doing this evening? If you're with me, just give me a yes in the chat box. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, I see some yeses coming through. Great to see you guys are excited this evening. All right, so let's jump into this evening's class. This evening's class is also a very simple class. It is on alternative waves. Okay, so our topic this evening is alternative waves, and we're looking at waves in threes and fives. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, so alternative waves. Alternative waves are based on the Elliott wave guidelines. Now, it's based on the Elliott wave guidelines for wave 2 and wave 4. This is where if wave 2 is simple, wave 4 is complex. How many of you guys know that? That if your wave 2 is simple, your wave 4 will be complex. If you know that or knew that from before, just give me a Y in the chat box. Just let me know that you knew that information already. If you did not know it, just give me an N in the chat box. All right, I see Kevin says Y. Nice, nice. I see Mark says N. Okay. All right. Anyone else? All right, I'll come back to the chat box. Okay, so if your wave 2 is simple, then your wave 4 will be complex. And if wave 2 is deep, your wave 4 will be shallow. Now, what makes this alternative waves is the fact that you can have wave 2 being simple and wave 4 being complex. So these are two wave structures that share a relationship, and the relationship in which that they share is the fact that they alternate. Okay, so they alternate. So one will be complex, the other will be simple, whereas one could be simple, and the other could be complex. So wave 2 could be simple in one case, and in another case, wave 2 could be complex. All right. And in a case where wave 2 is complex, wave 4 will be simple. In a case where wave 2 is simple, wave 4 will be complex. All right. So we also have a situation where we can see wave 2 as a shallow wave, which means it's not very deep in, it's not big in size. Okay. If wave 2 is shallow, then you could have a wave 4 being very deep. Okay. The price action on that one could be very big. All right. The retracements could be very big as well. So if you have a situation where wave 2 is deep, then you will have a shallow wave 4. Okay, so that is another example of how you can have waves alternating between each other. All right, so what else do we have here? We also have three wave patterns like the ABC pattern. This is where wave A and C are not the same in length, right? So that is another way of alternating. You know, generally you would find that you have the AB equals CD pattern. This is where you have AB and CD being equal in length. The ABC pattern does not have equal wavelengths, where wave A it could be long and wave C could be short, or wave A could be short and wave C could be long. Okay. We also have the WXY pattern. This is more of a complex wave structure, right? So this is where you basically have two different wave patterns connected by an X wave to form this complex corrective structure, okay? Now, with us having this knowledge, we also want to keep our eyes and minds open, as wave patterns can take on many forms in the Elliott wave theory. So some of us may be wanting to stick to how Ralph Nelson Elliott describes wave patterns. For example, he would say that you can get a 3-3-5, but there can also be a 5-3-3. Okay, so the market makers, they mix it up at times. So you must have an open mind when you look at pattern construction. I know a lot of us look at simple chart patterns like wedges, triangles, head and shoulders, cup and handle, and so on, right? But when you look at Elliott wave structures, you go deep into the waves, all right? And the wave construction could become complex at times. All right, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at a 5-wave impulse, right? So this is an impulse wave, and it's not even finished yet because I took this impulse from Australian dollar, US dollar pair, and I took it this evening, right? Just so I can give you guys some fresh information, right? And you can see here that this fifth wave is not yet complete. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? So this one is not yet complete as yet, but I took it just so you guys can see some fresh patterns, okay? So if you look at this, you have your wave 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have wave 1 here, and then you have your wave 2. Look at this wave 2, all right? This wave 2 looks complex. See how many waves we have inside here? It is very complex and it's very extended. Okay, so we have a very complex wave 2. Then we have our wave 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wave 3 ends here. And then we have our wave 4. Look at this wave 4. We have one wave up, one wave down, one wave up. This makes a lovely 1, 2, 3, right? So this is a 3-wave corrective structure, and it's simple. And look at this wave 2 compared to this wave 4. This one is a little bit more shallow, while this one is a little bit more deep. This one is simple, this one is complex. You guys see what I'm talking about? All right, I see Mark says yes. Anyone else notices what I'm talking about? Can you guys see how these waves alternate? All right, Kevin says somewhat. Okay. Kevin, what are you not so sure about? Let me know. Let me know what your eyes see. Let's give Kevin a chance to submit his comment. Let me know what you see when you look at this chart. Okay, Kevin says not sure what makes the other one complex. Okay, excuse me. So Kevin does not know what makes wave 2 complex. Okay, look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, you got a correction, you got another 1, 2, 3 up, right? So this is 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3-wave move up. Then you got 1, 2, 3 down. You got 1, 2, 3 up. This is a complete pattern. Then you got 1, 2, 3. Then you got this 1, 2, 3 connected by this wave, then down again, right? So you can see here that you evolved from a 3-wave pattern. It grew into a bigger 3-wave pattern, right? And that's what makes it complex, because it was not a simple 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and the pattern completed here, and then we start, creating the next wave 3 to the downside. It didn't do that. It made 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then it made another 1, 2, 3 down. This extended into another corrective formation here, another 1, 2, 3 down, another 1, 2, 3 up. So this grew into a big corrective formation. And this could be looked at in so many different ways. All right, Kevin says, okay, I get it. Thanks. You're most welcome. All right, so whenever you have a situation where you have a pattern that is not as simple as 3, 3, 3 or 3, 3, 5, you're looking at a complex formation. 3, 3, 5 is already a complex formation. All right, so if it grows into more corrective structures to extend the pattern, then it's going to be complex. Okay. All right. So what makes this wave 4 simple? It's just 1, 2, 3. That's a simple pattern formation. Okay. That's what makes it simple. It's just a simple 3-wave move. All right. Let's look at a WXY. All right. So we all know that the WXY is 3, 3, 5, right? So you can see here that we have 1, 2, 3. Now look at this. This is an impulse. We can look at this and say that this is potentially a 5-wave impulse. It is very sharp. Okay, we got a correction. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have a 5-wave move from here to here, right? This is also a 5-wave move. Now we'll come back to this structure in our next slide. Now this entire 3-wave move makes 1 wave. So this is the W. And then we got 1, 2, 3. So this is the X wave. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. Okay, so we have a 5-wave move here, whilst we have a 3-wave move here. So this makes 3, 3, 5, a WXY formation. And this is considered a complex pattern formation. Why is it complex? Because we have different wave structures creating this pattern. We have a 3-wave, ABC, then we have a 3-wave. This one is most likely another WXY inside here. And then we got another pattern here, which is a 5-wave pattern. Okay, so we got 3, 3, and a 5. So that is complex. Okay, everyone clear with that? And what makes it alternative waves is the fact that this is a 3-wave pattern, and this one over here, the Y wave, is a 5-wave pattern. So you have a 3-wave pattern here, and you have a 5-wave pattern here, right? So it's a complex pattern structure, yes, but the fact that you have different wave structures completing the pattern makes it alternating, right? So they're alternating. All right, let's look at the ABC pattern. Now, if you guys look at this, this is the pattern that I'm looking at right now, A, B, C, all right? And here it is by itself. So you have A, an aggressive impulsive move, then you got your B, corrective move, and then you got your C. Now, this, as you can see, is a very clean impulse, very clean wave. But this one, look at it. You see how this comes in 5 waves? But it's a bit more choppy than the first one, right? This one is clean, this one is choppy. So this is still 5, and this is still 5 over here, but it is constructed different. So this is aggressive, whilst this one is a little bit weaker. All right, but this one is still 5. The next difference is the first wave, the A wave, is longer than the C wave. Okay? So that is another quality that makes them, that allows us to consider them to be alternating waves, where the A wave is long, the C wave is short, or the A wave is short and the C wave is long. Okay? In the ABC formation, you will find it where A is 5, B is 3, or B could be another pattern like a triangle, and you will find the C wave being 5 waves as well. But the C wave could be shorter than the A wave, or the C wave could be longer than the A wave. All right? But generally, you will find that apart from the length of the waves, you could find that they are slightly constructed differently, where one of the waves could be in 5 distinct waves, while the other could just be aggressive. It could even be one big candle. Okay, so one wave could be aggressive, while the other wave could be weaker. Okay, you guys clear with this one as well? Now, in situations like this where you find that the C wave is weak, what does it normally mean? When the C wave is weak like this, it gives you a hint that the price may want to go in the opposite direction, which means after this C leg, price could start moving to the upside, either correcting to the upside or reversing to the upside. Okay, because this wave is weak. So that's a sign that momentum to the downside is drying up. All right. All right, let's take it to the chart so you guys can see these structures. Let me just try to compress it a little bit. So this is the part of the chart that I took to outline these patterns. And as you can see here, this is the ABC pattern that I showed you. This is the WXY pattern. And this is the 5-wave impulse that I showed you. Okay, now look at them. Look at how this ABC pattern falls into the WXY. Look at how this WXY with this X wave here, see how this X wave is complex? This is another pattern construction. Okay, this could be W, X, Y, X, Z. And that is how we consider this pattern. Okay, W, X, Y, X, Z. And here we are, 5 waves down. So this is W, X, and Y. See that? Everyone see this? See how the patterns come together to create a bigger pattern? So you have lower degree patterns coming together to create higher degree patterns. Once you understand pattern construction, you will have a very good idea of when these patterns will end. So once these patterns end, you can take the next move. All right, let's compress this chart a little bit. What are we looking at here? This is an aggressive move to the upside. We can just look at this and see that this is already our impulse up. All right, so this is already our impulse up, and we are getting a correction. So this is our corrective formation that is coming here. And this corrective formation is pretty much almost complete, because once this wave completes somewhere around the bottom here, we can actually use our market geometry to have an idea of when it's going to end. So if I measure wave 1, I can project it at the end of, well, at the end of wave 4 to have an idea of where wave 5 will complete. All right, I think I got it right there. Good. So we don't have that much further to go, right? Now wave 5 could still be a little bit longer, but we don't have much further to go. We will expect somewhere once we reach this level or any time now, once we have a nice clean 5-wave move in here, that we can actually start heading back to the upside or creating a bigger correction to extend the pattern to the downside. Okay, so corrective formations can extend. Okay, so they could extend and evolve, creating a bigger, more complex pattern formation. So in the Elliott wave theory, in some cases, you may find that you're looking for the price to move. Let's say you want the price to move up and your pattern completes and you're expecting that move to the upside, but it doesn't go up. It just either gives you an X and goes down, or it gives you a corrective formation and goes down. Okay, that is because it's extending. Okay, so whenever it's extending, you need to trade accordingly. All right, you need to be very careful. You need to have your eyes open, keep your mind open, because you don't want to close off and have a particular bias, because you need to be able to see when the chart patterns evolve. All right, so whenever it evolves, you need to change with it. If you're stuck on one direction, it can evolve, start going in the next direction, and you're only going to be looking for example, let's say you're looking for it to go up and it evolves to the downside, you're still looking for buys while the price is going down against you. Okay, so in a case like that, you go on a losing streak because you're continuing to buy and the price continues to move against you. Okay, it'll only go back in your favor when that correction ends. All right, any questions so far? Is there any particular chart you guys would like to look at? Feel free, make your request. Anything, guys? I see Grace says GJ. Okay. Kevin says Euro USD. Let's see what GJ says. All right. Look at this. All right. So look at this one, right? I would label this one W X Y. Why? 3, 3, 5. That's how I would look at it. All right. I would look at that as a 3, 3, 5 corrective structure. Right. After that structure is complete, I will expect impulse, because this is a complete correction. I expect impulse. We did get an impulse. Okay. So we did get an impulse. And here's what we're getting next. So we have impulse up, and then we get 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, I'll be expecting at least this wave to come back. Maybe from around here. I'll expect that to happen. Why would I expect that? Because I would look at this as a potential flat pattern formation, right? And say that the market is creating a bigger corrective formation to the downside. And this is going to be my flat pattern, which is going to connect this WXY to potentially another move to the downside, which will be a 5-wave move to the downside in most cases, if this is going to be 3, 3, 5, right? So I'll expect, let me just make some room here. I'll expect something that's going to come and look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I'll expect something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, a 5-wave move down once we get this corrective, this last corrective move to the upside. And it's going to be a corrective impulse to the upside. Okay, it could be long, it could be short. So that is something that we have to look out for. It could, this wave could actually evolve and make a bigger, more complex corrective formation down, then still give us this move up before it gives us the last wave to the downside. Okay, and the price could evolve in situations like that to create bigger formations. Like, for example, this was an impulse. Everyone would have expected this to just do something like this. One, two, three, and continue to the upside like that. Okay, but as you can see, it did not do that. It did the same. One, two, three. It just made a bigger three-wave correction, retested the bottom, and once it retests the bottom, it's telling you that it now has to make that wave again. Okay? And that is most likely what is going to play out. If it does not play out this way, since this is our third wave, this could be a 5-wave move up. It could be a 3-wave move up. It could even be a truncated wave, making 3 waves truncated like that, or making 5 waves truncated like that, and then falling. All right. So you need to make sure that you follow your wave count. And that is one of the reasons why I prefer to trade wave by wave. Instead of trying to catch the entire move in one sweep, I prefer to go one wave at a time. So I go for the impulse waves only. Sometimes I may look for the impulse in the corrective move, but I prefer to only go for the impulsive side of the market. Whether I'm in a big correction, I'm still looking for the impulsive side of the market. So for example, this is a corrective wave to the downside. This is the impulsive side. This is the impulsive side. So I would only look forward to trade that part of this structure. I would not look for the B wave or the X wave. That is not a very attractive wave. Okay. For example, I saw this impulse to the upside. After this 3-wave move is complete, I'd be looking for this impulse. If I'm able to catch this impulse, I'll be taking it wave by wave inside of this impulse. So I'll take this one, get out, then look to re-enter, take the next one, I'm out again. Now, since I'm out, I'm looking to catch the next move. Is it going to be correction for upside? Or is it going to be a continued correction to the downside? Okay, so this move, I would not be, excited to jump in and sell this because I would be expecting potential continuation to the upside. So this big move to the downside is where they would most likely be looking to take back your profits that you made by bringing this big move against you, because everyone is expecting the price to continue moving up. This is an impulse. Everyone is expecting price to continue progressing to the upside. And if you do get a correction, everyone is expecting the correction to be shallow to continue up, or you're expecting maybe some sort of triangle or some sort of flag type formation to break and continue up like that. That's what you'd be expecting. Okay, but as you see here, you didn't get that. You have a complex 3 waves down, then you got a complex 3 waves up, and not an impulse. So if you're aware that this is not an impulse to the upside, this is a correction, you would make sure that you're not looking to buy into this for too long. If you did jump in the beginning, you would need to make sure that you trade it wave by wave. And in most cases, trading wave by wave will be done in a intraday trading session, right? So you're trading intraday. You're not jumping into a trade and holding it overnight or holding it for a week or so, because it leaves a lot of room for error. Okay. So you'd want to be, looking forward to trading this on a daily basis. All right. So we got this correction. We have another move down. So we retested the bottom. So if everyone is trying to buy this and this is coming against you, you can expect that you'll be bleeding out your profits. So understand the patterns. You're only getting in on clear, complete corrective formations. Understand how the waves alternate so that you can take advantage of the pattern formations when you see them. Okay? All right, let's clear this up a bit. All right, I'll leave that one like that. And let's go to Euro dollar, US dollar. Okay. Let's clear this up a bit. Oops. All right, let's see here. What do we have? All right, we look like we may have something similar. You can see here we have a clear 1, 2, 3 down. This is a very complex wave to the upside. So this is a very complex corrective structure. All right, so this is a complex corrective structure. This one has some options. It's either going to come back, retest this low, or it's going to try to stop somewhere here and go back, retest this high. Okay, so we have a few options about to play out. Let me just make this a bit bigger. All right, so this is the current situation that we're dealing with. Okay, let's see here. All right, so this is the current situation that we're dealing with. We have a move up. So this is a corrective move up. This is also a corrective move down. Now, are we looking at this as okay, this is one wave down, right? But are we looking at this in this way? Like this? And this would be considered sort of a regular flat pattern. And then you get your next wave down. This wave is also 3 waves. Because this is 3 waves down, it kind of leaves me thinking that we could potentially have this being, let's see here, it's corrective, but we have, let's say 1, 2, this is potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this is 1, 2, 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So if this is 5 down here, because it's impulsive corrective, these 5 waves could be constructed in a very strange way. In some cases, you could even have your wave 5 being 3 waves in a corrective impulsive wave, right? And if that is the case here, this move to the upside, this push up, could extend back to this high, okay? Or it could just simply make a bigger corrective formation, right? If not, we could be looking at this piece here, this 3 waves up, 3 waves down. This could be 5 up, and then we start making our way back to the downside, which would be an extension of this pattern. Right? So this wave would come back like that. Then we would then expect this one like that. And this would just be a more complex flat pattern like this, right? It would look something like this. But we will watch and see how it plays out. I'm still looking forward for this to move to the upside, but we will watch. Right now, it looks very bearish. We will watch overnight, see how it plays out. If it comes back and retests the high, we'll be looking bullish. Okay, but for now, we're looking bearish. All right, so let's see how it plays out. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions? If we're looking bearish, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at something like this, right? So this would be our corrective structure, right? So what we can get, we could potentially get this wave repeating itself. It could come weak. And if it comes weak, we'll expect it to go back, retest the high. Okay, and once it retests the high, we could either continue moving up, or we could simply come back, come down like this, weak, then make 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then take off to the upside again, making a bigger corrective formation. That is one possibility as well. Or it just comes weak and then it takes off to the upside. Okay, so we need to watch and see how this one plays out. I don't like trading overnight. So overnight trading off session, that is not my style of trading. I prefer to come into the market around 2 a.m. or so and continue trading throughout the day until about 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, right? So I find that the best moves in the market start in the European session. Mostly I trade pairs from the European and US session, all right? Because that is the time that I'm available, all right? I try my best not to put myself in a situation where I have to trade at a time that is not convenient or comfortable for me, okay? So any other questions, guys? Any questions you'd like answered? Any charts you'd like analyzed? Okay, so Kevin says gold. Kevin says gold. Let's see what gold looks like. Let's see here. Gold. All right, here we got gold. All right, so we have gold here. Let us see how this one is playing out. Oops, let's take that off. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is potentially a 5-wave move down, right? So we have a 5-wave move down, and gold is building this type of complex corrective formation here. Let me just remove these. Let's remove these. All right, so here we have, let me see here. Yeah, so this is a nice complex corrective formation. We're making our way to the upside on gold. This is moving up in a very weak way. So it is possible that we can continue moving to the upside because we have this type of flat formation right here. So you see this flat formation that we're looking at right here. This tells us that we have the potential to continue moving up on gold, right? And just to simplify everything here, let's see if it's possible for me to simplify this quickly. Let's see. If this is, let's say this is 1, this is 2, this is 1, 2. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so this is 1, 2, 3. This is 4. This is 5. Okay. All right. This looks a bit complex. Okay, these waves make sense. This one and this one. Let me just mark out the corrective formation that I see. All right, so if this is 5 waves up, this is my correction. And let us assume that this here is, this can't be 5 waves up. This is another correction. So this is more likely a WXY to the upside, right? So we look at this here as WXY. Let's change the color. All right, let's put this in yellow, right? So we have WXY up. So since this is a corrective move to the upside, right? I will expect something similar to that to come back over here, right? And with me using measured moves, I will assume that it's going to be the exact same length or close in length, right? So I'll expect gold to be moving to the upside. So somewhere around here or so. And then we'll see what happens after that, okay? It is possible that the up move could become truncated, which means it could end as a short wave. And if it ends as a short wave, price will continue to the downside, okay? But it's very likely that it could go back to the upside, at least to that level. When it reaches that level, we could still extend some more to the upside by creating a correction and continuing to the upside, okay? So it's something to look out for. All right, something to look out for. All right, I see Kevin says, thanks for the chart analysis. Good to go. Thank you. You're most welcome, Kevin. Most welcome. Okay, guys. Well, this will bring us to the end of this evening's class. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure having you as usual. I will see you guys on our next class. Bye bye for now.